Danny, you know how I feel about the front of the poster. I think it's a home run all the way. I love it. Just love it. This is fantastic. Okay, let's jump to the back. I think the back has come along beautifully too. There's a couple of things I'm seeing in the back, and a lot of this has to do with page mechanics. I'll address your typography, which is actually your typography is quite beautiful. Um, We'll address that in one second, but in terms of page mechanics, there's a couple of things that are going on here. Okay, so this little chain that's not it's attached to that kind of wristband there, but it's kind of flowing freely right here, and I want to preserve that in the back. I think it's a mistake to connect the chain to her image for two reasons. Number one, it's not following the setup that we've established here. Number two, it's creating a negative connotation. She's still in contact with the chains. And that could be, theoretically, I suppose that could be translated that she still is in chains. So, and we know that's not the case, and then we know that she writes about things that involve kind of suppression and things like that. But to kind of have these chains in contact with her image, I think it's sending a little bit of the wrong signal. So for that reason, I would not uh, keep the chains in contact with the image. Now, if we take a look at the open end of the chain right here, we can see that it's the flat side of the um, link, not the open side, right? So I think we would end both these consistently in the same way. Again, we take a look at the stroke size of that chain right there. I think this is a lot thinner. I would increase the stroke size of this chain to add a little more contrast to that. Um, Other than that, and it's a little off balance, I think, that because it's touching the image, so it almost appears to be a little heavy on this end. So we start it right here. I think the image is a little too small too for the size of the timeline. I would say something like this for the image. Okay. Um, Also, so these strokes right here are too thick again in relationship to these. So I would suggest increasing the stroke size of the chain, decreasing the stroke size of the marker that's leading to the chain from the entry to the chain. Okay, let me do this. I'm going to zoom in and we'll start taking a look at your type. So let's start with the timeline. Um, you know, Boy, try old style numerals, and if they're not available, there's a couple of areas I think that really will help the typography. I think one is using old style numerals, and we'll get to that in your body copy as well. But also small caps for things like LW. Uh, and then old style numerals. I mean, let's jump in here and see how your body copy looks. Okay, so rags look good. Rags look good. A little bit of a pattern right there. A little diagonal there. You might want to adjust that right there. That's a little off. Good job using. Okay, there would be a case right there, 1906. Wait a second, you're using old style numerals, so presumably they're available. We could use them here, and since using old style numerals again, presumably the typeface you're using has open type capabilities, meaning that you should have access to small caps. So that BA, for example, LW. Let's see if there's any use for small caps up here. Don't see anything yet. Don't see anything here. Good job using italics for titles. That's great. Okay, no use for small caps. Okay, so your type looks fantastic. This typeset beautifully. Let me just jump into one more thing. And one thing I'm seeing here is honestly, I think that your gutters are really super wide. The gutters are the space between your type columns. So you could do one of two things. You could increase the width of your type columns. That'll decrease the height, and you can do that all the way around to reduce the size of those gutters. I think that's going to be your best play, is to do that. But yeah, these are really what it almost makes it appear as though these are not, that this doesn't have anything to do with this, and that this is separated, isolated from this. So they are part of the same type, so they think by proximity we bring those a little closer together, and I think we're in good business there. All right, other than that, I think, wow, this is good stuff. All right, great job. So just to finalize some things, if you've looked at some of the other videos, I'm asking all of the students in the class. This was such a great class, such an engaged class. This class kind of taught itself. I love this class. I wish all my classes had this level of engagement. The quality of students that is in this class it doesn't happen often, this kind of combination. Personalities mixed beautifully. Things were great. That said, I'd like you to take a few minutes to participate in the end of course survey. You should be receiving, if not, maybe you have already received an email giving instructions on how to access and complete that course survey. So I would really, really appreciate it if you were to take a few minutes to do that, just to let let your feelings and your thoughts and opinions and your reactions to the class be heard, regarding the level of instruction that you received, the level of engagement of myself, as well as your opinion and your thoughts on how the actual course was written and delivered. So I would really, really super appreciate if you were to do that. And let me know if you haven't received access to that email, or if you don't get it, let me know, and I'll be sure that you do. All right, fantastic work. Questions, comments, concerns, any of the above, please let me know. I'll be glad to clarify. Thank you very much.